Gentlemen, reframing. How to take the positive out of any experience that you encounter in your life. Now, when I mentioned the phrase positive thinking, I'm sure a lot of you will have all these woo-woo ideas about the concept. And to be honest, I've had battles with it myself over a large portion of my life. I've always been told to act positive, think positive. But of course, it's much easier to say think positive than it is to actually think positive. Because we are bombarded in life by negativity, whether that is from our immediate family, whether it's from our closest friends, whether it's from our workmates, our bosses, or society in general. Mass media, for example. You think of the mainstream media with all the news that they pump out 24 hours a day. How much of it is actually positive? A very small percentage of it. So, positive thinking and being positive in the midst of all of this chaos is quite a feat. And it requires work on your behalf. Now, the reason it requires work is because you're getting a lot of resistance. It's very easy to slip into the negative in life because we're wired to survive. We're wired simply to procreate and keep the race going. But we are wired in such a way that our brain helps to protect us from harm. So obviously, naturally, it's going to focus on anything that's negative in order to keep us safe. So it shields us from any negative effects. So we tend to shift our focus towards that because it's a natural impulse. So in order to counteract that, it requires that you put in the effort to become a positive thinker. So how do you do that? Gentlemen, all we really need to do is reframe the circumstances that we find ourselves in. No matter what particular circumstance that may be, no matter how hard it is. And the harder that circumstance is to bear, then the more effort you're going to have to put in to actually think positive about it, to derive the positive benefits from it. Let's say, for example, one of your relatives dies, one of your close family members dies, your mother, your father, your sister, your brother. That's a traumatic experience, and I've been through it myself. Now, we tend to focus on the loss. We focus on the heartache. We focus on the fact that they're not there anymore. But we can derive positives from that if we reframe, if we shift our focus. Look at the life that they lived. Look at the example that they set us, if they did provide us a positive example. Look at the life they provided for us. There's so much that we can be grateful for. There's so much that we can look back on their lives and think, wow, they really did a lot of positive things. They created a lot of positive things for me. Let's take another example. Let's say we get stuck in traffic behind a slow driver. I'm sure we've all been there. Now, if we're running late for work, for example, the inclination is to blare the horn at them, curse them, hit the steering wheel. That really does nothing for us. But instead, we can reframe it in this way. We can say that particular situation where we've been slowed down gives us more time to ourselves. We get time to listen to audiobooks. We get time to think more about our situation. For example, any situation that we have in our lives, whether that be towards work or our relationships or our finances or our health. But we can also reframe it from the other person's point of view. Let's say the person in front who was driving slow. They're just doing what they do to feel safe. They're not necessarily trying to make our day worse. They're doing what they do because everybody's different. But once we start thinking like this, gentlemen, it becomes much easier to become a more positive person and to get more positive benefits from your life, no matter what happens. Now, it's not easy. It's not easy for me, even. But what makes it easier for me is to focus on the upside. Yes, you may be waiting for a train that's delayed. Yes, your flight may have been cancelled. Yes, your girlfriend might have left you. Yes, someone might have died. But, gentlemen, there is always a positive in any of these situations. No matter how bad you're feeling, there is. So, as the song goes, accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, and don't mess with Mr. In Between. So, gentlemen, what I'd like you to do today is to focus on the positives in any area of your life. No matter how bad your situation is, there's a silver lining in every cloud. Now, speaking of positive thinking, if any of you out there want to take your life to a much more positive state, you want to take your life to the next level, then consider working with me. Let me be your coach. And I'll help you and I'll work with you in order to get to the places where you need to be in your life and help you create the positive life of your dreams. If you're interested, please check the link listed in the description below. As always, gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate you. And I'd appreciate if you left a like on this video, if you found the information useful, and please share it with any other man who you believe could benefit from this particular content. As always, gentlemen, get out there, get amongst it, and become the best version of yourself, man credible.